Welcome to Pam and the Purple Couch Podcast, hosted by Pamela Furr, with our co-hosts, Dr. Manny Rodriguez, Missy Owen, and Loki DePristo. Together, we're going to dive deep into topics such as education, neurodiversity, autism, and applied behavioral analysis. Remember to click subscribe today so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
Do you let your child go back to the dentist by themselves?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that was a big thing. So think about it. Do you think that your nephew, or I guess it was my nephew, your cousin, do you think he goes into the back of the dentist all by himself?
Well, if it's prepaid and it's just sort of you gotta walk in, walk out, that's kind of it. If you know what's going to happen, then it's simple.
Yes, but see, so many times parents don't let their children know what's about to happen when they go into a doctor's appointment.
Why?
Or a dentist appointment. Well, for a lot of kids, the dentist or the doctor can be traumatic. There's an actual thing called white coat disease. Do you know what that is? That means when people see doctors in white coats, their blood pressure automatically increases. And a lot of times, people that have what we call as white coat disease don't get their blood pressure checked until at the end of the visit, because it gives the person time to relax. This is adults, Loki, not just kids. Adults that come into the doctor's office and they almost have an anxiety and panic attack. Their blood pressure increases just because they're around doctors in white coats.
Yeah, okay, so what? It's just like, what? The worst that's going to happen during a basic doctor's visit is like a shot?
Yes, but think about, man, I bet if you went and spoke to all the teachers today and asked them, how do you think your child did with shots? They're going to go, oh my gosh, I hate it taking my kid to go get its shots. I hate it going in there. I hate it doing shots. Loki, you had your first Reiki attunement at 6 years of age. So you do look at things a little differently, because when we go into a doctor's office, you already know what to expect.
Yeah.
I never had the shots from you. I let you know before we even got into the doctors. I should tell you all.
They're professionals.
Yes, but even when you were not talking to everyone else, we would have the talk. You would look, and I was like, okay, you're going to get a bee sting, because that's how it's going to feel. You're going to get a bee sting. Loki, you can squeeze on me. You can grab on me. And we'd breathe. We did breathing exercises. Yeah. But do you remember where's your Harry Potter? When you got your Harry Potter? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, when I tried to do the crab on the table and I hit my head on the table. And then I had a bleeding scar for a long while. Yeah. And it still applies there. But you did great. You didn't scream. You didn't cry. Even the doctors asked. They were like, how is he so calm? And I was like, well, Loki knows Reiki, and we were already doing energy and breath work then. You fell asleep while they were actually stitching you together in my lap. So I think that approach with a lot of our families, the being upfront about it, because sometimes I think the energy that the parents have is what scares the kids. Yeah, no, most definitely. It's mostly just like, mostly people that are also afraid of doctors should realize that they are professionals. They're paid to do this. They didn't spend like 20 years working on a doctorate for medical and dentistry.
About 10 years.
Yeah, okay, well, listen, overstatement. But either way, they put time into this job. I doubt they would mess it up.
Well, some doctors do mess up.
Some doctors do mess up, but like, so what?
So you're telling the parents to relax, and if they relax, then the child will relax.
Yes, it's also just like you gotta be there for your child, but it's not like you get what I mean. Doctors aren't necessarily evil; they're trying their best, and it's like if they say, okay, you're going to get a shot, it's not going to be like a pain-racket experience. I was going to say this before, but shots have been simplified to be easier. Sorry, spit got everywhere. To be more, like, safer. Okay. Because I saw it with the dentist is that, like, now instead of, like, a stabbing thing, they have, like, a little, like, leveler. That's like a brick. So like it levels itself and then it injects instead of just putting the injector straight in first.
Very nice. Well, I've noticed also with little kids when they have these little things called buzzing bees now. And they can take the buzzing bee to distract the child on one hand and it's going bzzz.
Yeah,
and the
sensory.
next thing you know, on the other hand, bzzz, and the shot's there, and the kids they're still playing with the bee.
Yeah.
So,
Toys.
I think that goes back. Haven't you ever seen the little kid that may fall on the playground, and they don't cry at all until you see them fall, and they actually wait, and they look at you. And if you make a reaction, then all of a sudden the big, yes. But if you don't do anything, if you go, okay, little Sally, let's go, they're like, okay, here I go to the next thing.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that then be a proof positive that they're feeding off the energy of other people?
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you recommend to our families when it comes time to give doctors and go to get shots and things
Literally
like that? Literally
just, again, you did exactly what you should have done. Just hold your hand, give some sensory input, make them look at you, tell them that, like, don't try to give your son, like, information that, like, oh yeah, all doctors and dentists are bad. You should know that they're trying to, like, help you.
Right.
And so, with that in mind, the son should have more faith into the doctors, because having them have more faith into doctors and dentists and people like that is just better, because it's less than a neutral expression towards doctors. So if something does go wrong, they hate them.
Yeah. So when I was talking to you, the faith that you have in our relationship. So when I tell you, Loki, this may hurt a little, or Loki, we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Or did that help because you trusted what I said, or?
I braced for it.
Oh, you were ready for it.
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm waiting. Can you yawn for me again?
No,
You sure?
Yeah, okay, I yawned.
How much time were you on Discord last night?
Okay, I yawned. Did
you go to sleep last night?
Can I yawn?
No.
I literally just said what I supposed to be
How late were you up last night? What time did you wake up this morning?
I go to sleep exactly at 12.
Maybe you need to go to bed a little earlier.
I go to sleep exactly at 12 at 12
Do you have these conversations in your house?
We're going from dentistry to bedding. Okay, I just want to finish the conversation because I had few things more to say.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. So we were at the dentistry.
And being honest with your kids.
Being honest with your kids. Okay, now I remember. So being honest with your kids helps them brace more for, like, things to happen with shots, with dentistry, and the clarity that you are being able to be given to that child will impact how the child will react to certain information. Now, granted, again, most of this stuff is an age thing as well.
Yes.
So, it's granted they might not even process the information if they're, like, young, but at the same time, giving them that clarity in the first place helps them brace for what could happen. So, like, this also goes through with instructions, giving them instructions. If you give a child, like, a very specific set of instructions, they will brace themselves and try to think of the best solution on how to get through that.
Very nice.
And if they take their time, that means they probably don't know, like, the most optimal way of doing it, but give them that moment, and if they need help, they should ask for help, because they might not know where it is in the first place. If you ask them for a specific set of pills and you say the drawer, they're probably going to look through all the drawers because they don't know the specific drawer that the pill is in.
So you're saying make sure that when you respond to your child that you're being more detailed.
Yes.
Okay. So, there's two sides of that, though, Loki.
But not in the sense of also being detailed, more so also in the sense of let them come to their own conclusions to try to get the result that you want without active intervention.
Okay,
That way they could come up with their own solutions to try to help you in their whole way. That way it isn't just you doing the whole, like,
the work for them.
The work for them, which promotes lazy lifestyles and not wanting to be, like, active around.
We've seen that a lot at the school when we look at different parents, and a lot of parents.
And most of the parents just let their kid do their own thing without prompting them to do anything else.
Correct.
Which leads to them being misbehaviors in school.
Because you have to give them structure, and you have to give them the independence to initiate the structure with your guidance. Mm-hmm. Do you think that kind of summarizes that pretty well?
I think so as well, yeah.
Now, there's an old school methodology that believes that I'm the parent, you do what I say, because I'm the parent, without explanation.
Yeah, and I hate that.
I know you do. That's why I'm bringing it up, because even while you were growing up, I got a lot of raft from some of our older relatives about, well, why do you share so much with him? Why do you get his opinion? You're the mom, it should be your way or the highway.
Because if you do that logic, then they're not going to be able to speak up on things and give their own opinion on things.
Now, do you think that also helped us with me being so open with you? Because it wasn't just, it's because I said so, Loki. Instead, it was, Loki, we're doing this because XYZ.
Yeah, because that doesn't make me a follower.
Oh, I love that.
If you do like, oh yeah, I do this because I said so, you're going to build your child up to be a person that just follows the greater person. And when you inevitably leave them on their own, they don't know what to do. They're just going to follow the person that has, like, the bigger, like, what they look up to. And that could be a problematic person.
So, one of the biggest compliments that I've received on you is you are so empathetic and caring. That you love the people that are around you. If you were to help some of our family members that are tuning into this podcast, what do you feel was the thing that helped make you the most empathetic? You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. The most understanding.
You know, what do you think that helped you be so understanding to others?
I don't.
Look at that beautiful face.
What?
You were making the think face.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The one you're like, oh, I don't know, Mom.
Okay, what does it?
So when we think about some of our kids that you've had to now deal with in the academic setting.
Yes.
Okay, that do not have empathy.
Yeah.
Okay, you know some of the kids we're talking about.
I know exactly what kids you're talking about, don't worry. But I'm trying to think, what can I say that makes kids more empathetic?
And I don't want you to say it from a educator. I want you to give me input from a neurodivergent standpoint. Because what we have seen is a lot of children in the neurodivergent world are very blunt, very straightforward, no shade of gray. And empathy is something we have to teach them, because sometimes they don't look outside of their own emotional aspect. Yeah.
I've been trying to think on what can make a kid more empathetic, because it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm just kind of like that. I never actually considered what leads me to the events to be more understanding like that.
Do you think maybe because we were so open emotionally, good, bad, ugly, it didn't matter?
I think that's more so towards I can willingly stand up to my own take or opinion standpoint, rather than I'm more understanding because of the information that is given to me, because I don't feel like that adds up in any way.
So, as a parent, if I screwed up, I was the biggest one to come to you and be like, Loki, Mom screwed up.
Yes, we talked about this on a few episodes, yeah.
So, do you think that helped you in seeing the moments, instead of the hiding in the bathroom crying, or, you know, the things that I used to do when you were little?
I think having moments of weakness shows that other people can have those same moments of weakness as well, just like I said in that one episode. Mm-hmm. But it's also in the sense of, you need to just have your child have that moment of realization that other people can feel sad, that aren't just other kids or themselves. Every single human can feel sad and is impacted by your emotions in some way whatsoever.
Gotcha.
But again, that's like a very, 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 like, brief way of putting it, because honestly, I don't really know what makes the kid more empathetic.
You think maybe that sharing of emotion? There are so many parents that are afraid to show weakness to their child,
and they should. It's more so of a risk thing.
So, when you show your child that you're human, you make mistakes.
Yes. That
then allows them to feel okay or have a sense of acceptance that if they make a mistake or if they fall, that it would still be okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think... What do you think I should say?
I don't want to know what you should say. See, that concerns me. And I think that is a problem we have in a lot of our kids, is that they worry about what their parents want them to say. What is the right answer? Mom, Dad, what do you want me to say?
No, I said that in the sense of like, well, how do you expect me to respond in that statement? Because I do agree with most of the stuff that you do say. Parents are like going to like be the stronger force in the sense of like, oh yeah, do this. Do that. Oh. You do this. Oh. You do this. You do that. And if you don't do this, then you're going to get punished. And I think, though, while also being human on one side is very important for showing your child that everyone is human.
Yes.
It's also very difficult to convey that in words, because it's hard to convey humanity in words generally. I don't think any parent has gone up to their child and tried to explain what makes emotions like, because we know how emotions work. The first grade teacher always says, this is a happy face, this is a sad face, but it's hard to tell them how those emotions occur. Like we could tell them the causes. We could tell them the causes, but it's hard to tell them how do we get angry, because we can't really say it in a scientific way, and we can't really say it in a psychology way. We just kind of tell them that we get angry, we get sad, we get happy, we get glad. It's like, though, yes, that's true, it's not going to help. Mm. It's not going to help knowing, yeah, I'm mad, yeah, I'm sad. Well, what am I meant to do about it?
Okay, so that's the lesson to learn. I think acknowledging the feeling with your child. So mom and dad are very disappointed right now. Mm-hmm. Mom and dad are very happy right now. Mom and dad are sad because this happened. Grandma and grandpa are very frustrated with mom and dad right now. I think using those type of sentences when talking with your children can be extremely important, because it is putting an emotion to an actual feeling that they're having at that time.
Because they're not going to be able to see emotions right now.
Yes, but I also think that using those words over and over, and I think that's the hard stuff for parents, is that when you have a neurodivergent child, that expressive talk you need to do constantly.
Yes.
It's not just in a moment of anger and you've blown up and then you're like, oh, well, mommy's sorry, she was very angry, or daddy was really upset because of work. But if you're doing it on the daily, like mommy loves washing dishes, it doesn't matter if your 2-year-old is babbling, but you're giving that information share.
It's also in the sense of that even if you do all of that, even if you do like all that recognition and such, it's not going to help. The child themselves need to have that moment of, wait, this is what happy is.
Yes.
This is what sad is. This is what anger is. Because though you could only tell a child that we're making good choices so many times.
So yes, without making good choices. But let's say that they were playing a game, all right? And we're going to go from toddlers. So toddlers love the reaction games. So your favorite was, do you remember the ball pop machine? You run and get all the balls and you put it in and then you hit the button and it pops them up like golf balls, you know what I mean?
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So you loved that. And you would go and you put them all in, and then your thing was as soon as you'd hit the button and they'd all pop up and they'd all fall out. So when that child is elated and happy, that's when you want to go back as the parent and say, oh, this feels happy, because the kid is already there. And now you are actually tagging the emotional name with the feeling.
And once they start doing it by themselves, then they're going to realize, and again, there's a difference between tagging it themselves and saying the word.
Absolutely.
Because the
word may not come.
Yeah.
It may be years before the word comes. But if they can recognize that feeling, even receptively,
yeah,
then you've started building the base. You're building the foundational knowledge. All right?
Yeah.
Well, from our couch to yours, we hope you've enjoyed this. These are the kind of mom and son conversations that we're going to be bringing to you in this next season.
Yeah, the emotions of various children and how to regulate them.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that. Until next time, we'll see you soon.